If you're struggling with inconsistent contact, or despite trying really hard, you're not able to gain any extra distance, the chances are you're doing this. Many of my students come and see me and they're making one move in their golf swing that is sabotaging their ability to make great contact every single time. This move also robs you of a load of power, and most of my players, they don't realize they're making it. In this video, what I want to do is I want to share with you what that one move is, but more importantly, give you the sensations and the feelings that you can take to the golf course that is going to increase the likelihood that you're going to make more consistent contact time and time again out on that golf course, which naturally will help you hit the ball a little bit further too. Before I get in the video, look, if you're new to the channel, it's one of your first lessons of mine, please consider subscribing. I release videos just like this one every single week to try and help you improve your game. But you never have to remember a thing. Everything we do here, I'll put into a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below. So really excited to share this one with you because when I see a huge range of people on my lesson tee, from high handicappers, mid handicappers, and the really good players have more of this move, the bad players have less of this move, right? And it ultimately is your ability to control the bottom of your swing. So as you can see here, as I'm swinging, we're creating an arc, and there's a bottom to this arc, right? That bottom needs to occur after that golf ball, but you need to do it consistently. Now the bottom of the swing is right under this, in the middle of my lead arm here. When the lead arm and club form a straight line, that is the bottom of the swing. And I want that after the golf ball, a good 3 or 4 inches after the golf ball. Now, many of my students, depending on their level of handicap, sometimes they'll get it there, but sometimes it's 1 inch after, sometimes it's before the golf ball, but it's really inconsistent. And if it's inconsistent, you will have a loss of distance, you'll have a loss of direction, and clearly you are going to be an inconsistent golfer. So what I want to do now is share with you exactly how you can start to control the bottom of your golf swing so that you consistently get that club landing in the same spot time and time again. So the first thing that's going to help you control the bottom of your swing and therefore your consistency of contact is a drill you can do from the comfort of your own home. Just grab a football like I've got here and simply place it on a wall, preferably a flat wall, not like this one, and rest your lead hip against that football. And all I want you to do now is this: make a backswing and allow your hip to roll on that ball like this. So my hip pelvis is moving like this, and I'm keeping that lead hip attached to that golf ball. Why is this such a great drill? Well, it's achieving 2 things. We said, look, your ability to get that bottom of the swing after the golf ball, look, every single time. So if I look after this lead hip here, and it stays pretty constant as I'm pivoting around it, I am going to increase the likelihood of striking the ball and returning that club to the same spot time and time again. Compare that to this. If I move off that, I now need to somehow find my way back over here in order to try to strike the ground in the same spot every time. It's obvious, isn't it? It's going to be much more difficult. But the second thing I love about this exercise, and this is important because I gave this to a student recently and he didn't quite do it right, and it is really, really important. It's one of the beauties about the exercise. So we get ourselves set up here. Now, it isn't about just staying still. So one of my students, when I did this, he just literally held the ball there and put his lead hip on that and he just stuck there. That won't work because there's no natural turn or pivot. Why I love this, and you could feel the ball rolling. When the ball rolls, what I'm doing here, can you see here, preferably on a flat surface, not like this one. When I'm doing this, can you see how, as I'm rolling here, I'm getting a beautiful arc to this golf swing here. That arc sends my arms around my body and is going to help me generate the arc necessary to strike that ball with power. So this is the first thing I want you to do. Then you can literally take that sensation, imagine yourself pressed against the ball here, imagine how pivoting you can see here. That's more likely now as I pivot back to get my low point, my bottom of the arc, right ahead of that golf ball time and time again. So before we move on to step 2, let's just see this in action. So I can see here, look, I've put the bottom of my swing. It's going to measure the bottom of my swing here. And all I'm going to do is get myself set up. Now, very, very important to have a good setup at the same time. So if you notice here, my bottom of my swing is under my lead arm. So make sure that the ball, look, is a good 2 or 3 balls back of that point here. Usually a club width and a bit more inside my lead heel. I'm going to put my shaft slightly at an angle. Why? Because again, it helps with striking that ball first and getting the bottom of the arc after the golf ball. So that's setup done. Now all I'm going to do now is imagine a football is stuck to my lead hip, and I'm going to roll that football here, keeping that there consistently. If I do that, I am more likely to return there compared to me sliding off that golf ball. So nice and easy to start with. Make a swing, keep it fairly constant. And you'll see here, watch this here, it'll be after the golf, 4.8 inches after the golf ball here, and I'm hitting a 7-iron, and comfortably, effortlessly goes almost 180 yards. Now it does that because I am compressing the golf ball, I'm delivering less loft. When your bottom of your swing ends up behind the golf ball, you start to add too much loft to the club and you're reducing that compression and therefore your distance. So spend some time just indoors, just getting that sensation of that wonderful pivot there. You'll absolutely love it, and it's so easy to do. Once you've done that and you've got a feel for that, let's start and work on what you need to do on the way through to enhance this even further. So when my students practice that drill, they start to see immediate improvement in the consistency of their ball striking, but just naturally, of course they do. They make mistakes in the downswing, which brings me on to drill number 2. Once you start to develop a wonderful feel to the correct pivot on the way back, you kind of want to know, how do we maintain that beautiful movement on the way down so we can keep the bottom of the arc, look, ahead of that golf ball? Well, that brings me to drill number 2, and one that I got from a friend of mine, Andreas Kelly. Now, ultimately, the position of where your pelvis is going to make a big difference as to the quality of your ball striking. If you can get it over the lead foot at impact on a consistent basis, the chances of you hitting the bottom, having the bottom of the arc after the golf ball really increase. If your pelvis is further and further back, you're going to see it's hard to get there, and the likelihood is you're going to be very, very inconsistent with your ball striking. So how do you learn it, and how do you learn the feel of it? Well, you're already halfway there in the backswing. The second drill is this, and it's absolutely brilliant. All you do, the way they set it up to start with, is this. You take your pelvis and you move it over the lead heel. So you're going to have, probably feels like 90% of your weight over on that lead foot. Maybe it's just a drill. Your head needs to remain in the middle of your stance. This is really important. And all we're going to do is going to make a little chipping action just about here. You're going to turn your hips and your chest to face the target. And we're not going to have a big long swing up here. We're just going to finish just like this, right? Now what this is doing is this. It's training the feeling of where you need to be at the moment of impact to make sure the bottom of the swing look is after that golf ball time and time again. So you'll learn that first. I'm going to show you in a second how we build it up. So we get ourselves set. You'll notice setup is also very, very important. So I've got the ball position, look a good club and a bit back. I've got my handle forward. All these are helping me strike that ball first. Take the pelvis, move it over that lead heel. So I feel like I've got 90%. Now I don't want to do this. Don't want to move my head over here. That would be disaster. I'm going to keep my head right in the middle of my stance. From here, I'm going to make a simple chipping action, just like this. Right, so really simple, hips, chest, all facing the target. And you can see here, I'm 5.2 inches after the golf ball. So my bottom of my swing is 5.2 inches comfortably after the golf ball. Now with my students, what I do is I get them learning that sensation, learning that actually when we're here, they're feeling, oh, I'm pivoting around that lead hip here. I am not going back here pivoting because that's going to get the ball hiking left, slicing across the golf ball. I need to be there, and that's the movement, right? Super consistent. Now, I spend a bit of time doing this. They use this with chipping, by the way. Their chipping improves massively when they do this. Then what we do is we turn this into a little bit of a punch. So it starts with a chip, and then it moves into a punch. So we do the same thing. We get ourselves set. We push our pelvis over our lead heel. We make sure our head is in the middle of our stance. And all we're going to do is increase the length just a little bit, right? But we're going to punch it. So we're going to add a little bit more power into this, but not power by doing this. Just still try to stop short, but it becomes more of a punch. So get myself set, pelvis forward, head in the middle of the stance. I'm just going to imagine turning my hips, my chest to face that target. Now watch this. Low point will still be after the golf ball, but now we've got up to 170 yards with just a simple punch shot. Why does the distance naturally increase? Why? Because you're now making proper contact. When you make proper contact, you deliver slightly less loft on the golf ball. That's going to help the ball go further. The strike's loads better. When you start to kind of get the bottom of the swing too far behind the golf ball, like this, you start to add loft to the golf shot. So you're losing power, but you also start to lose strike because you start to strike it down at the bottom of the golf club, right? So spend some time doing those two drills. Get the sensation of controlling the pivot on the way back, and then on the way through, gradually get the sensation, this is where I need to be. Once you've done this second drill, you can start to move up a little bit. You can start to go back to a normal position. Imagine you're pivoting with the ball there, and now notice, I know I need to get my pelvis where? Somewhere in this vicinity here to guarantee a consistent strike. So you've now got the steps in place to start making consistent contact time and time again. Put in a little bit of practice, do this, some of this stuff you can do indoors, and I promise you, you're going to start to love the feeling it gives you, and the quality of ball striking is going to spike. Once you've done that and you want to start to ramp up your power, check this video out right here. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with one of your friends, and of course, look, if you're new to the channel, it's one of the first videos of mine, click the subscribe button right down here. But until next week, have a wonderful golfing week.